Welcome, everybody. This is episode 4 of Monday Funday.
Hi, y'all. Hey, everybody. I want to start by apologizing. Okay. Number one, as you can tell, it's Tuesday, right? This is not Brew Day Tuesday. Okay. It's Monday Fun Day. However, I was on a flight, and between Ricky and I's schedule yesterday, we thought, you know what? It didn't work out. We're going to do it today, and we're gonna go back into the DeLorean, Back to the Future, and we're going to inject this episode into yesterday. So you're going to wake up tomorrow, and it's going to be Groundhog Day. We're going to go back to Monday. Is that okay?
That's some inception stuff right there.
That's a mind blowing. Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
have to
and
trace it
so
out.
it's actually really interesting too, because if you also noticed, last Monday there wasn't a Monday Fun Day, and it's exactly why we have the topic we do today, isn't it, Ricky?
Yeah, you got to take some time out for yourself. You got to make sure you recharge the batteries. No one is invincible. Not even Andrew's biceps are invincible. So everybody
Ow,
needs a
dude,
rest.
ow. So what we're doing today, guys, is we're looking at vacations. You know, it's that time of the year. People are going away. I know when I left yesterday from the Dominican Republic, it just started getting really busy, right? Spring, like, holiday breaks, school breaks are coming on for the next couple of weeks, 2, 3 weeks. So this is the time that people are, maybe booking a last minute trip, or they've already got a trip that they booked, or maybe they can't quite go because Christmas, there's a lot of commitments. And so, maybe you're going to go in January or February, maybe even March. So ultimately what we want to do here is maybe take a look at vacations. And what I've noticed, and I know Ricky and I, this is why the topic has come up. While I've been studying high achievers and successful people, I actually noticed there were differences in how they took vacations. And and so Ricky and I have been partaking on this type of vacation for a while. We're going to go into the different types specifically, and see what comes up for you. See how maybe you can upgrade or bring some more high performance to your next vacation.
Yeah, and who doesn't love a vacation, right? But we found that there's generally two categories those vacations can fit into, and we'll admit it, we've taken both types of vacations, and
Mhm.
more so the second type than the first type now. But you got to make sure that your vacation doesn't leave you needing to take another vacation to recover from that initial vacation, which
Yeah,
is often the case, right? You come back to work, you're hating it, you're tired, you're like, what the hell, I was just off for a week. But then you remember all the tequila shots and the margaritas and the not so good buffet food.
yeah, yeah. So that's a perfect place to start. So the first type of vacation is a recreational vacation, just like a recreational vehicle, right? Let's go have some fun. And what we're discussing here isn't there's a problem with fun. It's the type of fun that people are putting themselves through. So if you're 20 years old, 21 years old, and your idea of fun is having unlimited drinks, sitting by the pool, getting sunburn, and then having pizza at midnight. Come here, come here, come here, bud. Come here. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's your usual vacation, and you're wondering why you're tired, why you come back, and as Ricky put it, you need another vacation, or better yet, maybe you're in your 30s and things just don't seem as fun when you have 6 drinks, 8 drinks, 10 drinks, or you're in your 40s or 50s. Wow. Now, so that's the first piece, is recreational, right? What kind of fun are you having? I'd like to say, come here. I don't know what, come here. You know what? I guess this is a popular one because even Henley, the high performance hound, is chiming in with his little wine. Come here, bud. Come
Maybe
here.
he needs a vacation. Maybe his
He
owner's too tough
does.
on him.
He does. He did have a vacation though. While I was vacationing, he was in puppy playland. So I guess the difference between a recreational vacation and one where we're recreational in our intention, right? Recreating ourselves, recreating our health, recreating our mind, our body, right? Recreating our nervous system. You ever impacted or agitated by stress, right? Your nervous system can only take so much of that. And alcohol and sun and poor food isn't how you're going to rebuild, right? Or invest. So do you invest in yourself or do you get careless with yourself? Yeah. So, right, recreationally, there's nothing wrong with fun. That's not what's up for debate here. But what is fun is when you invest in yourself and you come back and you're pumped, you're charged. I got back late last night and I'm ready to go. I don't need a vacation. I had a great one. So if you're careless, like from my own experience, I know Ricky and I spoke both about this. There were many trips I've taken or many activities that I partook in that allowed me to escape, that allowed me to numb myself. So where's it coming from that thinks, oh my gosh, I'm going away. I can't wait. I want to have all these mojitos. And after 2 or 3, it's like, oh yeah, it's feeling good. I'm having some fun. But then as you continue to do this day over day, it's really funny. I decided, knowing that the premise for different types of vacations exist and that I've been perfecting this, I decided to do something differently. And I never told Ricky this, so this is a surprise. But I actually made some mental notes watching planes come in when I was getting to the airport a week ago to see what people's energy like and how they were looking and just kind of just check in. I didn't have a pre to confirm with this post. But so what I did is I took note of everybody on my flight. I made mental notes and I just started absorbing. I was like, okay, that person, okay, cool. And then what I did is yesterday, I replayed back what I've seen in changes. And I will tell you that 80%, if not 70, 80% of the people on that flight, they looked tired. They wanted to go home to their bed. Now, here's the thing. You have a bed in a beautiful country surrounded by tropical oases, if that's plural for oasis. I don't know. But so, Ricky, I want to hear what your opinion is. But what I discovered is I set the intention of seeing if there was a transformation, because I knew I was going to come back having a nice glow, feeling fresh, ate a lot of fruit. That's what my body was craving. Wasn't sugary drinks. It was delicious glucose delivered via mangoes and papayas, pineapples, watermelons, etc. So kind of neat to see that my initial thoughts were confirmed, that people were coming back and they look really haggard. They look weathered. There were specific couples in particular, and I couldn't believe the difference. Couldn't believe it. And it wasn't just like I looked at them and judged them based on their sunburn. I wasn't even really the factor. I mean, if a sunburn was obvious, great, but these people were wearing shirts and shorts or pants, but it was like the expression in their eyes. It was expression in their motivated gestures and facial expression or posture, and really interesting stuff there. So again, going back, right, Ricky, what we were talking about, invest or are you careless, right?
Yeah, and when people are depleted, you can tell from a mile away, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's one of those that when you brought this up to me and you had said like, are vacations for recreation or recreation? Like that was one of those like mic drop moments and you just walked away into the sunlight. But that word is so powerful, recreation. You're actually recreating yourself. And most people, when they take a vacation, unfortunately, it's to run away. It's to like we go to a travel agent and they even have all these posters like plan your next escape, right? So language is so important.
Get away. Yeah.
What the hell are you trying to escape from? Like you're in this life. If you have a job, a lifestyle that needs constant escapes and getaways, and then you're so worried about coming back that you feel like you didn't even take a vacation at all, you're missing out on some very, very foundational things in your life. That is not.
It's a warning signal for me. If you're like consistently wanting to escape or get away, when you're like, you know what? No, I deserve this. I want to go eat a bunch of badass fruit and get kicked out of the buffet, which almost happened. I might have created a high performance backpack that had the ice cube container from the room with the lid in the backpack. I just shoveled a plate of fruit in, beside the booth and then the table, and then you close it up. And then you go hit the beach and you got this people are walking around with this like bucket of fruit, and everyone's like, hey, where'd you get that? And I'm like, yeah, it's fruit time. So it's a warning signal. And the first time I experienced this dynamic or this divergence of vacation, many years ago, I had a girlfriend who literally lived to go away 2, sometimes 3 times a year, usually twice a year. And it was the thing in her life, like the thing. And when you don't have the thing in your life, you're willing to make anything the thing. Now, I'm not saying a vacation's a bad spot. Vacation's great, but maybe it's also like, this car is going to make me feel better or more confident, or, I'll become who I want to be when I get that perfect partner, right? And so there's a sort of line of thinking here, right? If you're into the opportunity to recreate yourself, well, do it. Do it in a fun way. You want to get ticket of a buffet because you're taking more fruit than what they think is an allowable limit for a Canadian. Well, then that's too bad. They can meet me outside after I finish my mangoes.
Yeah. Well, there's two big points we wanted to make today, and one of them was just the distinction between these, and give you guys some real world examples. So I come from a background of partying. So in undergrad, I was a bit of a party animal as well. And even just this year, I got married earlier this year, and in April, I took my bachelor party trip with the cousins to right where Andrew was, beautiful Punta Cana. And we were there for about 4 nights. Man, the day I got back, I felt like a bus hit me. Like I was not recovered, not rested, literally other than a slight sunburn. I didn't really have anything positive to show for it. So it was just a negative trip. And admittedly, it was a trip filled with partying, filled with alcohol and the greatest food decisions. Whereas fast forward to a recent trip that me and Andrew both took, we went out to the woods north of Minnesota. We drove up 3 hours north of Minnesota to the Points Retreat, which is this beautiful property. It's a bunch of cottages right on a lake. And we had the most restorative 3 days. I think we were there for 3 nights ever. Like I felt like I took a month off after that. And we were out in the woods. We had a campfire every single day. We were barefoot most of the weekend. We had a private chef making us all organic meals filled with love, filled with all the right ingredients. And it was just an epic weekend. And I learned that a while ago as well. I took another trip about 2 years ago with the Living Proof Boys at the time as well. And it was just a camping trip up north. We went to this property and we were barefoot all weekend. We were literally having fun. We were making the meals ourselves in house, and everything was like the freshest ingredients. We felt amazing. We literally felt like we mended ourselves. We recreated ourselves. So this is one of the main distinctions. And then the other distinction here is that you need to schedule these things properly as well. So while Andrew was away in Punta Cana this week, me and my wife took a little mini staycation to Niagara Falls. We went to the White Oaks Resort, which is a beautiful little resort. So this is the big thing. You don't always have to bank time and bank resources to take a big trip. It doesn't have to be a 7-day all-inclusive or a cruise or something big. Like we went for 2 nights, 3 days, and we came back feeling fully charged. It was absolutely awesome. It was just what I needed this time of year. So I would rather somebody take frequent these mini staycations, and shout out Tim Ferriss for introducing me to this idea, than have to bank like 1 vacation a year to go away for 2 weeks. Right? So the body needs continual reset. So, and shout out to Andrew. I took a look at his schedule yesterday. I took a look at his schedule today to see when we can schedule this. And I was like, man, this guy doesn't miss a beat. He came in, schedule's fully loaded again, and he's refreshed. But imagine you spent that full week drinking. Imagine you spent that full week not eating the best stuff, not sleeping properly. Like you would be absolutely like dreadful today. You would really want to up to the task.
And I appreciate you sharing your bad boy ways of yesterdays. And for me, like in my 20s in university, I was known as the rye Nazi. If you ever saw the soup Nazi from Seinfeld, that was literally the rye Nazi was on my residential residence hockey jersey for ball hockey. I was the rye Nazi. So picture this. If you want to look at excess, because there's nothing here, there's no finger pointing, because every time you what do they say? You point, you got like 3 fingers or something pointing back at you or something. But anyways, the point of this is that even during, say, Frosh Week, I'd have a Texas Mickey with the pump. Like, we're talking 100-ounce Canadian Club of whiskey, of rye whiskey. And that would be done in less than a week. And that was only my pre-drinking before the bar. If anybody else wants more graphic illustrations, that's also available, but not necessarily important. I know how to party. I knew how to party. Now I party a little differently, right? If you have some really cool, like, I love to bring my body down. I love a little bit of the calming tea from Yogi. It's skullcap, really gentle, mild sedative, great to kind of just shift the nervous system down. Rick and I are huge, and the guys at LPI and the ladies in our community, massive into medicinal mushrooms. And there's a nice variety there that really help to recreate both the physical and the mental. So again, like Ricky and I guarantee you, if we met 15 years ago, we would have been each other's own worst enemy. We would have like one-upped each other's bar tabs. And, like, hey, dude, I stayed up to 6 a.m., and so there's a lot of excess that's come from both of our lives. But, maybe you haven't had that kind of excess. That's okay. When you plan your next vacation, don't make it happen only once a year, right? Don't try and escape. Figure out why that's the terminology for you. I need to escape. I need to get out. Well, work, my boss, my employees, or this person, my partner. Do something now, so when you leave, you're celebrating a monumental achievement. I went away to Punta Cana not to escape. I went to celebrate because, gosh darn, I deserve it. I earned it this year, and I'm not waiting another year to do it again. Really important piece here, and this is something I'll layer on top of Ricky's gluten-free sandwich here about the staycation, is that my lady and I, my partner and I, actually decided that every week we're going to focus on Saturday or Sunday, either a day, and it's going to be nothing. It's going to be like a massage, right? Making sure you get the nice juices. Because a lot of people, I'll do that during the week, but then they come to the weekend and it's like, oh, well, like the weekend. And instead, like, why don't you look at the weekend as, okay, if I'm a battery and it's the weekend, shouldn't I be recharging myself in the outlet? So when I come back, I'm pumped for Monday, because that's the secret of the world's highest performers. They don't differentiate Monday to Friday. They're going through their habits and they're leveling up every chance they get. So big one, staycation, even if it's not to White Oaks, like maybe you can't afford to go away for 2 nights or 3 days. That's cool. What about finding a way to tune out, like on a weekend, to actually tune into yourself? Mm-hmm. Figure out, okay, I'm going to make this nice healthy soup. I'm going to have this nice new tea. I'm going to find a way to, I'm not going to have any alcohol today, because I normally drink on the weekend. I did many years of that too, or it's the weekend, let's do it. And that was after university. So what can you do to say, hey, I had a great weekend? Maybe instead of, having a whole thing of Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's, you do some coconut ice cream, and you get some nice fruit on it. Oh my gosh, it's delicious. So what kind of foods are you bringing in? What kind of drinks and juices are you bringing in? What kind of soups and stews, right? Nourishing. There's a lot of soul in food. There's a lot of spirit in soul food. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the intro to this episode where you kind of took us on a little Inception rant where it's going into the future, but into the past and all of that. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this is layers, right? So you made some interesting points, because you also talked about what you were doing this vacation for, and it was to celebrate. And that's absolutely huge, right? Language intention is everything. And if you're celebrating something like you having an amazing 2018 and I deserve it, That's a lot different than, oh, I can't wait to get away. I
Yeah.
need a
Yeah.
break. This is just wearing me out. So it goes into layers, because on one layer, we're kind of, for the purpose of this episode, we named the title of the episode around taking vacations. But really, who takes these high performance vacations? Who takes vacations that actually recreate themselves? People who think they deserve these vacations. So if you feel like you don't deserve these vacations, really reevaluate your life and see why you're not winning. Where are you contributing? What do you deserve a pat on the back for? And if you still can't find any, you might need to change things. You might need to change an entire career. You may need to change your relationships. If you have friends like me and Andrew had friends in the past that do Friday hits and all they're thinking about is what bar to hit up, nothing wrong with that. Like, go for it if they want, but it's not very conducive to mine and Andrew's goals to be the highest performers possible. So we're definitely going to opt out of that. And even if that means you have to not see friends for weeks, months, years, those are not the group of people you should be associating with. You should be in line with others that are trying to recreate themselves. So by my associations and the people I know and the people I met and the people I choose to spend my time with, I am now picking up a lot of these habits, implementing a lot of these habits. So like Andrew said, like, what do you really do on vacation? You get time where you're not at work. So that's kind of the top thing. And then from there, you do all these small behaviors. So you might go for a massage. Guess what? Your partner can do that to you. You can go for a massage locally.
Yep.
You're going to eat better food more than likely. You're going to eat maybe something more gourmet. Get yourself in the kitchen. Make it yourself. There's YouTube videos. There's recipes. Like, enjoy something completely, right? But foundationally, you have to believe you deserve it. And if you feel you're not deserving of it and you just keep running away, that's a hamster on a wheel. You're just going to keep doing that for the rest of your life. And then one day it's going to kind of hit you like, what the hell have I been doing, right? So everything's intention. And I actually truly do believe that even things like alcohol, when used correctly, produce a great benefit in the right people. Mm-hmm. So one of the big effects that's been studied in research is the hormetic effect, or they call it hormesis. And what that is when something bad for you is actually good for you. And two biggest examples that are referenced in the research, one is exercise. When you actually go to exercise, like when Andrew does his 200-pound bicep curls, he's actually ripping apart his bicep fibers, right? So he's actually causing damage, and it's in the repair process that he's actually building neurological strength and actually new muscle. But alcohol is another one like that, where if you study most of the blue zones across the world, they're not alcohol free. And there's actually some very outrageous claims in there. Like I heard Okinawa, Japan, their diet is up to 70% carbohydrate. So you would think that's diabetes walking around, but nope, not for them. So they are really using things to their advantage. So even something like alcohol, if your intention is to have a glass of wine to celebrate something, especially now with the holiday season, completely different than, oh, I had a rough week at work, I'm going to drink 6 glasses of wine, I'm going to get trashed, or I'm going to escalate to tequila shots and all that. The intention is incorrect, right? The same thing with I shout out Canada, recreational marijuana, right? Or recreational marijuana, if you want to call it that. But even with that, right? I get many patients who question my opinion about it. They're a bit hesitant to bring it up because they're like, I don't know what this guy's about. Are they going to judge me? But the way I tell them, I'm like, everything is intention. If intentionally you can achieve a state that allows you to accomplish some sort of goal, some sort of contribution you're working on, go for it. But if you're doing it to literally get high, grab a whole bag of popcorn, put on a Netflix series and just binge watch, that's not a good intention long-term for you. So everything is intention, but foundationally, like the people that take these, if we think of this as a pyramid, the people that take these vacations and actually recreate themselves are the people that are doing these smaller habits at home, are the people who are contributing to some greater good. They already have what their goals are outlined, and now they're celebrating life, right? So that's the main purpose of this podcast as well. The entire podcast, me and Andrew got together, it's to really show people that they can perform at their highest and that they deserve to live their best life. So it's absolutely huge. So yeah, great point that you don't even have to leave like a couple hours in the woods. Like if you have a hiking trail near you, like that will change your physiology completely. In Japan, they call it forest bathing. It's a cancer treatment. So we don't even understand the power that's within us that is quote unquote free. It's accessible. You don't have to pay a single dime for it. It's just, you got to make the time out.
Yeah. And awesome. Like super amazing points. Like I'll throw a couple here if you want to, if you want to have more fun on a staycation, vacation, right? Instead of hanging around the chlorinated pool, and hanging around the concrete, go over to the beach. I spend most of my time earthed on the beach, barefoot to the sand. And you want to have more fun? Why wait for the sexy Dominican to turn the music on? Turn the music on and dance, right? Like create a little dance party at home. You know, if you want to learn about herbalism and tinctures, the way medicinal mushrooms and other herbs can really elevate your mind and your body while still depressing the level of stress that we've absorbed and how much chaos is going inside ourselves, there's a great opportunity there. You know, the same way you could say, hey, I'm going to try one glass of this wine. And that felt nice. That felt good. And see what works for you. Because you know what? The best indicator is to do whatever you're going to do and see how you feel a few hours later, or see how you feel the next day. That is always the best indicator of, you know, whatever you did last night, that'll follow you into the next day. So, but look for ways to be a little bit creative with the choices you make. You know, do I need to eat this much? You know, like, yeah, that food looks amazing, but is that the feeling I'm going for? Here's the thing about vacation. It's an experience. It's a feeling. Is that massive plate, and by the way, this is a personal note. This is super personal right now. Do I want to eat this massive mound of food? Is that the feeling I'm looking for? Or am I reacting emotionally? And I'm using this food to numb myself, right? So what I did on this trip, guess what? My plate was about half full. I not only acknowledged my emotion going into the trip, and I used my breath, and I used my assorted herbs and tinctures and medicinal mushrooms to bring me into the place where I felt like, okay, there it is. I'm liking that. But then I took that emotion, and when I went to eat, or I went to maybe have, you know, I had one pina colada one day, and maybe I had a shot of the mama juana. It's not marijuana, it's mama juana. It's a rum soaked in some special herbs and roots. But what is the feeling you're looking for here? And this is a big part of high performance and the clarity model. That's one of the 6 habits of successful people is, how do I want to feel right now? How do I want to feel in a day from now? What is the feeling I'm looking for? And with that, like, who's attached to it? You know, what's important to me? Because otherwise you're reacting emotionally. And if you're reacting emotionally, we tend to do things like, oh, I just had 4 drinks in an hour. Now I'm feeling a little woozy. And for some reason, the meal I had didn't satisfy me. Now it's 12 o'clock and I'm eating and I'm starving because of the blood sugar roller coaster you just went on. The next day you wake up, it's not just an alcohol hangover, it's a food hangover too. So there's a lot of things that we can do just by saying, what's the feeling of this trip? What am I celebrating? What am I acknowledging now? And finding a way, instead of jumping straight into the pastas and the pizzas because you have some sort of sugar craving for that, why don't you just start out and have some fruit and then wait on that? Like, even you sit there for 30 minutes, you know, give a chance. Ideally, fruit should be consumed on an empty stomach. You don't want to overload it with other foods, but fruit will leave your system really quickly. So get the glucose in there, get that feeling. You want to get your mood up, have some mangoes. You want to get your tummy dancing, get some papaya, right? And get in there, see how you feel, and then watch what happens to your food choices at that point, especially on vacation.
Yeah, we're so desensitized, right? We're so removed from a natural environment that we don't even realize this. So vacations can be absolutely debilitating to your health, or they could be very, very restorative, and they actually recreate who you are. So the key thing is to set that intention, make sure why you're doing it, and schedule it. Like, look at your calendar right now. Actually, we're right at the end of the year, so it's a great time to reevaluate your goals. And one of the things you can really see is, like, do you want to go somewhere once a quarter to just work on recreating yourself and get away for that short period of time to just focus on a certain set of tasks that you have? So like with Andrew, he just really made sure that he was eating the right nutrition. He was getting sunlight because we all live in Canada here. Andrew's a little bit north than me, so I know he gets snow a little earlier, but we have to put these practices into play. You have to have it on your schedule. And one of the things I've learned the hard way, and I still am a work in progress with it, is if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done, right? So you really want to make sure it's on the schedule. So Andrew was already talking to me about what his next trip and what he intends to do and when he intends to do it right before we started this podcast episode. So these things are always in the back of our mind, and it's important to outline this, put pen to paper, because when you see it written down, you're more than likely to follow through on it. But again, like we've given suggestions here, you don't have to even leave the country. You don't even have to leave the town. Like there's hiking trails everywhere. Ontario, and that's where me and Andrew are from, absolutely beautiful, right? You don't have to go further than that. So just make sure you guys are living life intentionally. Make sure that you're not absolutely destroying yourself on vacation. And if you are destroying yourself on vacation, you might need to use a different word. It's not really a vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't even necessarily need to leave your house to do it right? You can literally take a trip to your local store, your Whole Foods or whatever local spot you have, and say, hey, what soup am I going to make today? What's the feeling of that nice warm soup on a cold day? Or what's that nice line of, I'm going to do some fajitas. And it's nice and it's hot out and I feel like some Mexican. Have a little party, celebrate, right? What is the feeling you're looking for? It's not, well, I'm just going to go to the pub and have a bunch of greasy fried foods and see if I can down the 2-pitcher minimum in order to get my meal for free. So this is, again, speaking from personal experience. There's no looking down here. It's just looking up to the recreated version of yourself. So hopefully this provides you some extra insight when you're booking your feel-good vacation and you're not reacting too emotionally when you get there. But take those steps, nourish yourself, right? Monitor how you feel. Have you had enough water? Are you getting enough rest, right? And again, you want to look at those levels in deep dive detail. Set up a call with Ricky. You want to get to the next level? Set up a call with myself. If you have any questions, shoot them in the message comment below, and let's keep this train moving.
Yeah, you guys know where to find us, but thank you for tuning in today. We'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you for all the love and all the comments we've received. We love you guys for it, and we'll just keep helping you achieve the best you and turn yourself into the best version of yourself. High performance, baby.
High performance.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.